Doctor, a very good morning to you and welcome to AM News.
Morning, thank you.
First and foremostly, the launch was yesterday.
It was.
Can you tell us more about the Institute itself, or the forum itself, rather?
Well, the forum was initiated by a group of professional bodies. Professional bodies are, I suppose you could call it the professional home of the respective professionals. And the reason why we had gotten together is because all of us had had increasing reports coming through from our members saying that they are being intimidated when they unearth corruption, in the case of internal auditors, for example, being asked to sweep findings under the carpet. And because we'd started to see an escalation in those reports, we felt it was very necessary for us to start doing something about it. A lot of us would come to the professional body and say, so what are you doing to protect us? Now, a professional body doesn't have the jurisdiction to go into an organization and solve that problem. But what we found is that if we come together and create an umbrella, that would create some form of protection for the whistleblower. So if a professional picks up something in an organization, had gone through the internal channels, because that is important. Yes. That person would then bring it to their professional body, and if that professional body then sees there's merit in it, bring it to the forum. The forum's evaluation panel will also look at it, because we also have to be careful that we don't just jump in any bandwagon, because sometimes people are vendettas and, and they want to sabotage the organization. When there is a real issue, the forum will then take it to what we call our second tier. The second tier would consist of the likes of the Public Protector, the Auditor General, National Treasury, and so forth. And then we would go and say, for example, the Auditor General, in such and such an organization, you need to go and ask these questions. And when it comes from the forum, it then becomes very difficult to pinpoint which of the professionals in that organization had blown the whistle. And we're hoping that with that more and more people will then start to come forward. Because I think a lot of people are keeping quiet when they see things happen because A, they're afraid of being intimidated, and B, they're not seeing consequences. So if I'm going to go through the pain of blowing the whistle and there are going to be no consequences for the perpetrator, then that would be problematic. So essentially a combination of creating protection, mobilizing our members, specifically the professionals, so they can really stand up and start fighting the corruption that we see. And then, of course, we've got to keep our members disciplined as well. So if any of them are one of the perpetrators, we will discipline them.
Protection for the whistleblower is very important. You just mentioned it. We don't have something called a protection order or a protection program like in the United States here in South Africa, or do we? And can those whistleblowers be protected under your umbrella?
We have the legislation to protect the whistleblowers, but what happens on the ground completely ignores the law under normal circumstances. And by the time the law was taken its course, the whistleblower had already gone through a significant amount of pain. So the protection, I think, that we are providing is that the person can stay behind this umbrella. Because if people don't know it's you, then they won't intimidate you.
Correct. Yes. Now, looking in my introduction, I said the aim of the forum is to educate whistleblowers on following the correct procedures. What are those correct procedures that a whistleblower should know about?
Look, first and foremost, they've got to do their homework properly before they blow the whistle. Yes. A lot of whistleblowers find that it blows up in their faces because they didn't do enough homework. Secondly, it is important that you keep yourself clean, because where we always often find that people have to step back is because now the perpetrators will start digging in your side. So if they come up with anything, it must be proven that there's nothing. Because if you're not clean yourself, then you have a problem. But then take it through the correct channels in the organization. So the person must familiarize themselves with who do I need to report? What is the reporting channels within the organization? And then when you're dealing with something, it is like if I use an internal auditor as an example, the team must know what is going on and not just one person. Because if they know you're the only one with the information, you're opening yourself up
Now, the forum consists of executive committees, agencies who can take action, interested organizations, and evaluation panel. But what are their contributions then to the forum? Is it only to provide protection to the whistleblower, or is it also then education, as we indicated?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So if one looks at the executive committee, which consists of the founding members, it's a combination of the protection, very, very clear directed guidance, educating. So we've already established a website with some information on there. So to guide them, to educate them, but then also to gather information from our members so that we're able to start speaking as one voice, with one voice as professional bodies on the state of governance in the country. So we can start to look at trends, and we can alert the agencies around where those trends are.
The Deputy Public Protector, Kevin Malunga, he's indicated that there were not enough incentives for whistleblowers. Do we need incentives, though, for whistleblowers? That's
an interesting question. And I think there are two sides to it, and it's debatable. On the one hand, one can say, why do you need an incentive to speak up when you see something wrong? Because it's not just about that little area in your organization. It is about the ripple effect in the organization, but the ripple effect into the economy. So if we have, when we start seeing the cost of corruption, all of us have a vested interest in making sure that we report. On the other hand, there is we've got to incentivize people. I think there's a place for it, but there's got to be a balance.
But it's also a starting point. There is an ethical policy, really, for your industry.
No, absolutely. Each one of the professional bodies have a code of ethics, and that is very central to a professional body. So professionals are held accountable against that code of ethics, and that is fundamentally important.
Whistleblowers, potential whistleblowers, people out there that want to blow the whistle but don't know how do they get in touch with you?
If they are professionals belonging to their professional body, they go to their professional body as the first point of call, because the professional body would first see if they can help or whether it is really something that should go to the forum. Otherwise, they can contact us through the website, www.aepf.co.za.
AEPF.
AEPF, Anti-Intimidation in Ethical Practices Forum.
Doctor, thank you so much, and we'll keep some tabs on you and find out what's happening, and if maybe you can give us some feedback after a while to find out how the forum is doing.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining us here on AM News.